Hey guys, welcome back to the video. Today we're rating TDX towers, and there's only 4 towers I do not have: Railgunner, Warship, Golden Juggernaut, and XWM turret. And XWM turret and Golden Juggernaut are for obvious reasons. Warship is for a little bit less obvious reason, and Railgunner is because I just never wanted it at all. I just never seen it being worth anything. And I was right. I don't ever see anyone use it except for in endless mode. So we're going to start with this. I'm going to say there's one reason why I'm putting it in this tier here. I already know someone's going to hate on me for it. I'm putting it in this tier because it's not that good. It's overpriced is what makes it so bad. Next up we have Shotgunner. I love shotguns and all, but I feel like they need to make Shotgunner do a little bit more damage. For how strong the enemies are in TDX, Shotgunner doesn't actually do enough damage to really kill anything, sadly. He's also a little bit overpriced for his DPS. So I'm going to put it in the white. Well, actually, no. I'm going to put it up here in the all-right area because of the new abilities he has. DJ. I don't ever personally use it because I have my loadout like maxed out all the time, mainly with Barracks and Factory, my 2 favorite towers. But very much needed. It is very much needed. Even if you don't use it, you still need it. And John Roblox is gonna go in the It's gonna go in the why not category, cause once again he's overpriced and he doesn't do that good of DPS. However, he does have the rage ability that makes everything do more DPS. Operator. There's multiple reasons why I'm about to put it in the category I'm about to put it in, and that's because you need it for starting. It's even good for once you get really good at the game and you're doing stuff like expert mode. I've literally used Operator every time I solo expert mode, just for like to help out my Golden Ranger. I'll place a Golden Ranger and then I'll place an Operator. I'll get the Operator to have hidden detection, and then the Golden Ranger just takes care of armors. And on top of that, he also does great DPS. Grenadier. It's gonna go with Shotgunner because it's not overpriced or anything. I mean, I feel like it is now that I really think about it. Like, I have to sit here and think about it for a few seconds. But it feels overpriced for the fact that it doesn't do that much damage. However, it does have... The main thing is it needs a bigger explosion range, is what puts in... I mean, it's an alright tier. So next on, we're moving on to Warship. I have lots of reasons why I'm putting it here. Well, actually, you know what? It does do good DPS, so I'll put it up here instead. It's overpriced. You have to be level 100 to get it. It's only useful on certain maps. It's only useful on certain modes. You need to farm pretty much the whole game to get it. It does barely enough DPS to kill most things, and it takes forever to kill the boss. You have to automatically aim it, which, I mean, technically is fine since it gives you hidden detection because of that, because you can see hiddens. But yeah, it's just too overpriced and too hard of a grind to be even worth it. However, on the other hand, we have Patrol Boat. Patrol Boat here is an absolute beast. He's got flames. The only reason I'm putting him is in the it's pretty good is because there's basically no like, how do I say this? There's no maps you can use it on, sadly. However, it is good on the maps you can use it on. Golden Juggernaut here. This one's going to be a little bit harder to explain. I'm going to put in the why not. If you can afford it and you're the level you need to be to get it, then why not? It's overpowered. It doesn't cost too much more than a normal Juggernaut. And it's, you can use it pretty much anywhere because it's not a water tower. So, yeah, it's just going to go there. You know, actually, I'll buff it up a tier. Since it's so overpowered, I'll put in it the all right tier. Since it's really good at endless mode, which most towers are not. Barracks, as if you were paying attention earlier, I said this is my favorite tower, besides Factory, which every American loves Factory. I mean, it literally spawns in American troops, thanks to John Roblox being an absolute genius. Very much needed. Even if like you look at it from a non-biased standpoint, you can't say it's not needed. It does stupid amounts of DPS. It's great at catching leaks. It's good at being a meat shield for anything that does leak. It's good at taking down bosses. It's great against hordes. Both paths get hidden detection. Top path, you have to buy hidden detection, and on bottom path, they will just tank it. And bottom path gets armored piercing. Top path also gets armored piercing once you fully max it out. It's all around good. Sniper. I like Sniper. He's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I also like Sniper Rifles quite a lot, so I'm gonna put him in there. It's a pretty good, because I could put in the very much needed. However, I don't think it's that much needed where it needs to be in that category. So instead, it's gonna go here, because pretty much it has hidden detection, it has armor piercing, it has piercing. Armor piercing and piercing are on the same path, and then the hidden detection path he can reveal hiddens, and he does overall good DPS. I prefer the top path or whatever, the one that gets the giant Barrett 50 cal that can like absolutely demolish anything in the game. Not the fully automatic one, no, I'm talking about the really big heavy one that he carries like it's a minigun. Next on, we have Mind Layer. I don't know what to say about him. I'm going to put him in the why not because he is pretty good. But I mean, he's not good enough for him to be anywhere above why not. Because he does do decent DPS, but for anything that can attack towers, it will kill it before it even gets to him. Which doesn't matter because his mines don't blow up when he dies. But he'll stop placing mines. You can't put him pretty much anywhere because he has like no range and he needs to be right next to the path. And I mean, he does quite good DPS. He's just not like, you don't need him. Especially if you're relying on him for damage, I wouldn't recommend it. Cryoblaster. There is 3 reasons I'm going to put him in this tier. Reason 1, he can freeze bosses. Reason 2, if you get top path, he can freeze huge hordes of enemies. Reason 2, bottom path does damage. And overall, he's just good at slowing things down. However, since it's a TD game, you have a limited amount of slots, so I won't recommend bringing him. Just because you're better off just getting mainly DPS. Moving on, we have Artillery. Some people use this to help them in expert mode. I do not recommend doing that. It's not the greatest of ideas if you ask me. However, it is very much needed. Most players use it to like solo certain modes. Other players can use it to just do good DPS. It's all around a pretty good tower. And it does great DPS. I think its top path gets a Skynet or whatever it's called. Skyhawk, I mean. Where he just obliterates everything in one shot. Bottom path will shoot a series of bullets, doing about the same amount of damage. It just can aim on its own, which is pretty nice. However, it doesn't have hidden detection, which kind of debuffs it, but not that bad. Anyways, moving on, we have Toxicnator. I scaled that down too much. For Toxicnator, I think he will be a, I think I'm going to put him in there. Because he does do great damage. He's really good at early defense. But as soon as you get to mid-game, he's useless. He doesn't do, no matter what path you use, he doesn't do enough damage to really do anything. Even the Anthrax upgrade doesn't do much. Even if you use the ability, it's just not worth it. It costs too much. However, it is good for early defense. That's why it goes up there. Now, I know no one's going to question me for this, so I'm not even going to say a word about this. Anyways, moving on, we have Missile Trooper. I'm gonna say he can go right up here with farm. Because lots of people use him for early defense, lots of people use him for late defense. His fully automatic mode does a stupid amount of damage, it's really nice. His bottom path, not so much. I don't care for the lock on, it's not that good against anything. However, I'm pretty sure it gets a bigger blast radius. But mainly it just shoots way slower, which is what debuffs it so much, where he shoots fully automatically. So I'm going to put him up there because some people need him for early defense and other people need him for DPS in general. So moving on, we're going to have an XWM turret. I'm gonna put him in the why not category because it's really expensive to get. It's really expensive to place. Its upgrades are really expensive. But on the other hand, it does the most DPS of anything in the game by far. So it should at least, it shouldn't go below why not, but it shouldn't go below here, but it shouldn't go above here. So moving on, we have Golden Ranger, who's gonna I've used him so much already. I already know exactly where I'm putting him without even talking about him yet. He's going straight in the it's needed. He's same thing as Operator. Like I said, I use Operator for early defense and Golden Ranger at the same time. Let me move some of this stuff over real quick. There we go. He does great damage. He gets armor piercing. He even gets laser armor piercing, which not that useful unless if you're in endless mode. And by the time you get laser armor zombies, you have things that aren't even doing laser damage anymore. Mainly just juggernauts and stuff. Normal juggernaut, worth it. It's totally worth it. He's going straight up here with it's needed. Because it does do a lot of damage. A lot of players rely on this tower for damage. And somewhat early defense, depending on how early you're talking. I've seen people get on like wave 10 before. Especially with the new abilities you can use. Personally, I don't really use it that much. But I don't know where these came from. But anyways, I don't use it that much, but he is pretty useful. He does do a decent amount of DPS and he's decently cheap. Moving on, we have Armored Factory, which, if you were paying attention 3 times earlier, I've declared that this is by far my favorite tower. I feel like any American person, even General Wax himself, would agree with me on that. You can get an Abrams, you can get Bradley. However, there's one thing, the Bradley needs to be buffed. It needs to do more damage. Well, not more damage, just give it more splash radius. Because in my opinion, it's pretty much useless. Even at crowd control, it's just not useful enough to do anything. And it doesn't really match its upgrade. Like, it shouldn't really be a Bradley for the last upgrade. It should be a, they should use a, what's it called? They should use a HIMARS instead. Like, you know, something that's related to missiles, like the upgrade before you get the Bradley. Ranger. I don't know what to say about this one. I want to put in the it's needed, very much needed category, since, you know, it's the free tower and you need it for, you know, I'm not even going to talk about it. It's just going up there. It's literally the starter tower. You can't do anything without it. Why wouldn't you put it up there? Laser Gunner. A lot of people are going to hate me for this, but there's a lot of reasons why I'm doing this. There we go. It's done. It's over with. Okay. Now, before you rage and stop watching the video, let me explain. He does a decent... He's pretty good. Alright? He's pretty good. The reason I'm putting him there is because you get burnt out on using him so much. He's pretty... Well, not anymore, but he used to be used... You used to need him for every mode. You needed him for Elite, you needed him for Expert, and you needed him for Intermediate. Now you can replace that with Golden Ranger, but I mean, it's still, it burnt me out using him every round, doing like 10 rounds a day for fun. So I couldn't stand using him. That's why I started finding new strats, and that's why I know so much about each tower and what each tower is good at. And that's why Shotgunner's right here instead of down here like other players would put it. But in my opinion, he doesn't belong up here. He does decent, but this guy's much better. And he's just, you get burnt out after using him so much, and he's also hard to get. What was that? Anyways, moving on, we have the Behemoth. Every single player of TDX wants this thing. We want it like right now. We don't know anything about it or what it does. We want it though. It looks cool. It's literally a futuristic armored tank. Who doesn't want that? The only thing we know is it's probably going to be something like the Armored Factory, which is going to be pretty cool. But oh yeah, I didn't get it yet, but I also want to get there's going to be, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a plane thing. There's pictures of planes and stuff, but like everyone thinks it's part of the abilities, but I don't think it is, because there's at least 2 or 3 planes that I've seen that aren't a part of the abilities. Like if you go back way back, he has plenty of bombers and jets and stuff that seem like they're gonna be track towers or something. He was like, one's gonna just, like, he literally had a B-2 stealth bomber, which, if you don't know what that is, it's that weird triangle looking plane that's weirdly really good at like not being caught on radars. And he had that. He had some pretty cool looking warships, and he's had quite a few towers, and we haven't seen any of that stuff. One thing I really do want him to add, especially since TDS has been copying him like a lot, like a lot. I want him to add a pyromancer. And I want him to hurry up and add his own version of the accelerator. Not like a perfect replica of the accelerator, but something like it, since TDS is over there copying him. They just added abilities like 1 or 2 weeks after he added abilities, so it's only fair if he starts adding some things they have. Anyways, that's all I have for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Like always, peace.